All right, well, welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. Where are we? We're just at the beginning of May, and May is going to be a big month. I foresee a lot of the updates we've been talking about all year are going to come to fruition between May and June. So I want to welcome everyone. If this is your first time joining, welcome. I am Jason there on the left. And as always, we're very lucky to be joined by David Rockland, who is the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories, and so much more. So David, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Hey everybody, so glad to be back with you for another webinar. I believe this is Webinar Wednesday 178. Really moving up the numbers there, but yeah, got a great update to share with you today. One of those big ones that we've been teasing for quite a while now.
We're going to hit 200 webinars this year, if my calculations are correct. Is that right?
I believe so. It's approaching fast.
Okay, great. We'll do some kind of a special party. That'll be lots of fun. Good news, we are streaming on YouTube Live. So those of you joining us on YouTube, welcome to the webinar. I also want to recommend subscribing to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. You'll get notified as soon as the webinar replays are available, tip of the weeks, new feature tutorials, and lots more. So we appreciate the support, and you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. And one of the benefits of streaming on YouTube Live is the replay will be immediately available after the webinar, and we will post it in the Facebook group shortly after. So also want to recommend everyone join us in our Brilliant Directories Facebook group. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that join button. Tons of great conversations happening there. Whether you've been working on your site for a while or just starting out, it's a great place to ask questions, get feedback, strategize with other membership website owners, and lots more. I'm in there myself. It's pretty active and it is tons of fun. So certainly invite everyone to join us there. And if you do, I will see you in there. Oh, and also happening in the Facebook group, David, I forgot about this slide. We do this periodically throughout the year. There's an iPad giveaway. All you have to do is go to the Facebook group and comment on the giveaway post. Let me share a link there. I got it handy here. I'm going to put this link in the chat for everyone. And if you're not joined to the Facebook group, just join the Facebook group and leave a comment on this post. At the end of the month, we will spin the magical raffle wheel and we'll choose a lucky winner. Just comment below with the iPad color that you'd like. And yeah, you'll be automatically entered into the contest. We have some shout outs to some previous winners here. And David, what's the caveat with the 1,000 comments here?
So if we hit 1,000 entries on this post here, and again, all you have to do is just leave a comment with the color you want. But if we hit 1,000, we will pick a second winner. So we'll end up giving away 2 iPads, not just one.
Did we do that last time as well?
We did it last time, but because we've gotten so many more members since the last giveaway, we have increased that limit. I believe the last one was 700 or 800 comments. So we went ahead and bumped it up a little bit, but I have a feeling we'll still be able to hit it. But if you guys want to really make sure we do, feel free to invite some of your friends, colleagues to join the group and enter as well.
Awesome. All right, that should be exciting. And that's going to be announced on May 31st. So we got a few weeks till that date, and we hope that you guys can join us in that fun contest there. And also a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. We see a lot of new names and faces out there. Welcome. So Webinar Wednesday is a great way for us here at Brilliant Directories to share with you some of the newer features we build into the platform week after week. Big shout out to the BD community. A lot of the updates and features that we release are based on your suggestions, your ideas and feedback. So thank you for that. It's a great way for us to share some of those updates, and we specifically focus on the updates that can help you grow your community or better manage your community. So we'll cover topics like increasing traffic, converting website visitors to members, improving your website navigation, and generating revenue, and a lot more. So we should have plenty of time in today's webinar for a fun Q&A session. If you have questions on these topics or anything about your membership site, please save them and we will get to as many questions as we can today. And let me just check something. I'm getting some dings on my computer. I'm going to pause the screen just temporarily, guys, and let me see what I'm getting dings on. Oh, it's the Facebook group. All right, let me log out of there and we are back here. All right, so we have a great tip of the week today, but before we get into that, we have even better lab updates to share with you guys. This is a pretty extensive list. I'll breeze through it. Shortly after this, you can ask questions on these new and upcoming features. Then we'll shift our focus to the tip of the week. So we'll start here at the top. We released this in a previous webinar. It's shortcode for when your members are logged in. Maybe you want to welcome them with their name on their dashboard. Now you can use this shortcode anywhere on the site, not just the dashboard when they're logged into their membership dashboard of their site. I'll show you a quick example of what this works with. And for those of you who are kind of intermediate level, this should be easy for you. Basically, you do me equals and the variable name. There's a cheat sheet somewhere in our support center for the variable names for your members, like their first name, last name, their subscription, their company name, their phone number. So you could do me equals any of those. And if it exists, it will render for them. I'll show you an example of how I added that to the main menu here. So it says, hello, Mike, just a very, very basic example here. So if we go to the dashboard area, and in this example, I've put it in a menu, but you can put it on a web page. You can put it in their dashboard, like I said, and lots more. So if we go to edit on the main menu, I've simply added in the first main menu link, hello, Mike. Now, you probably don't want to do this on your public site. We have ways to show a different main menu when your members are logged in, but I just wanted to show you how you can add shortcode like this in different areas of the admin that will reflect on the front end of your site. So I'm just going to pop this me equals into the chat here. So if you guys are logged into your site, you can practice putting this in different places and seeing how it behaves on your site. All right, moving along here. This next one is related to design. The related posts you've seen in your sidebar. So if you're looking at a blog article or a video, etc., you'll notice that you have an option to have related posts there in the sidebar. And that thing is pretty intelligent. It'll show related posts from the same member first and the same post type, and then it goes down from there. If there isn't more from the same member, it'll show more of the same post type, and so on. However, the design was lacking, to say the least, and we've seen some people customize it in the past. But just for the greater good, we've kind of updated it, and here's the old layout of the related post. Let me zoom in here a bit. So it was a little image here, and if the title was long, it created a lot of negative space on the page. So I'll just zoom back out. And now this is the new layout. I like this better myself. It shows a larger image, which grabs people's attention. If there's no image, it won't show an image here. And then the title is beneath it. And again, it gets to take advantage of the full width of that sidebar. So even longer titles can present a bit better here. So not many settings with the related post, but as far as aesthetics, this should help with getting people to click on related posts. Now they're just a little bit prettier here in the sidebars. All right, moving on. This next one was thanks to you guys and your feedback. The ability to export members when you have the export add-on here. The system will now remember your preferred export fields, and I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So if we go to the search members page here in the admin area, and we'll just let this load. If we go to export list of current member results, we can see here that it's actually saved my response. So by default, it kind of includes a ton of data points you want to export for your members, but people have different preferences and different use cases and common reasons they're exporting members. So let's say I just needed basic information like the last name and the phone number, and I'll just go ahead and export this. So I've added first name, last name, and phone number. User ID and email will always be exported. I'll just do an export here and give that a second. And once it's exported, great. Okay, we see the zip files there. So I'll just refresh this page. And when I come back here to export members, we'll see it's now updated with the new last name and phone number as well. So if you're exporting members often, this is just a quality of life update. It'll remember your selected fields here. So pretty straightforward there. This next one is for the designers to start and for everyone very soon. We now support the button outline class for buttons, and I'll show you that in a second. Let me show you what it does first. So if you're a web designer and working on a BD site, I'll just go to a search results page real quick. Now, if you wanted to get into the code or you're working in the page editor, currently you have to do this manually. So if you add though, but there is support for it. So if you add, for example, button outline and hit enter, oops, I spelled that wrong. we're going to get the outline style for that, for the corresponding button. I'll just do a couple of them here. And this is definitely a nice style for some buttons in certain places. It can help highlight like a more important button and things like that. So in this phase, we now have support for button outline. In the next phase, we're going to find places in the design settings, in the web page builder, and other areas where you're choosing your button colors if you want it to be the style of a button outline. So that'll be coming in a phase 2, and that will give you more granular control over how certain buttons appear on the site, and it can just update the aesthetic a bit based on your needs. So BTN outline, I'll put that in the chat. So again, right now it's for more of the web designers and developers out there, but I just put the class in the chat here, and you can play around with that if you know how to get into the code. Coming soon, it will be in the design settings and the web page builder, etc. All right, this next one here also was a suggestion from you guys in the Facebook group and notifying our support team. It is a brand new webhook. If you're not familiar with webhooks, they are triggers to update third-party platforms based on actions that are taking place on your site. Nevertheless, there is a new webhook, and it's an alert when a member clicks on their email verification link. So for example, a free member signs up, there's a webhook for that. But when they click on the email verification link in their email to kind of activate their account, we were flying blind. There was no way to know that as far as notifying third-party platforms and things like that. So now there is a new webhook. It's called member clicked email verification link. I'll show you where it is in the webhooks section. We'll go to Developer Hub and we'll go to webhooks, and I'll just search for verification. So email clicked email verification link. So now you can get notified on your third-party platforms. This is very helpful if you're using Zapier or Pabbly, and then you want other actions to take place after someone has not only signed up as a free member, but also verified their email address by clicking on that link. Then you can start additional workflows based on that specific action. And actually, this is very useful now that I'm thinking about it. If they sign up as a free member, you can drip email them using other email automation systems out there. And until they click that verification link, you can send them reminders, etc. And then once they click on that email verification link, switch to the next nurture sequence, email sequence that you want to present to those now activated free member signups. So that's there. And if you're using webhooks, that is awesome. All right, and we have 3 big ones that are coming soon, and I have examples to show you for each of these. The first is a tagging system. In the admin area, you'll be able to create custom tags to pin your members to. And I foresee a lot of use cases for this, but I'm just going to show you the basics of what this is going to be released as. And I'm sure that you guys, the community, will come up with lots of use cases for this. I'd expect for this to be released before the end of May, but because it's really close to getting there. So when this is released, in your smart lists section, it'll now be called smart lists and tags. And you'll have 2 columns, the member tags. This is a test site. You're going to see a lot of testing going on here. And you'll have tag groups. So if you wanted to create a group, something called webinar, you can go ahead and do that. And we now have a tag group called webinar. So what we could do now is we can create a set of tags that are part of the webinar tag group if we wanted it to be. So we can say May 6th attendees. And we'll put that in the webinar group. And we'll go ahead and save that. So now we have a tag and a tag group. So if we go to search members, and I'll show you just this is the first iteration of all this that'll be coming out soon. If you go to quick edit, you'll have a new tab here called member tags. And from here, you can manually assign those tags to the member. So if we scroll down here, we can see webinar May 6th attendees. And I'll go ahead and save that. And I will close that. And also you'll have bulk actions. So we'll do add or remove tags. There's only 5 sample members on this site. So we'll get this pop-up. We're going to say add tags, and we'll do the, let's see here, May 6th attendees. There we go. And we'll hit yes, continue. And okay, great. And now if we want to search for who has certain tags, we can certainly do so. We can search for the May 6th attendees tag. Those are all members who have that tag. We'll search that. And there are 5 members here. From this, after the tagging, the static tagging, we can create smart lists of these people. We could just say people tagged as, May 6th attendees. And to close the circle here, attendees, there we go. To close the circle here, once it's a smart list, then we can send newsletters to these people because we select smart lists when we send email newsletters. A lot of use cases I foresee for this. Later, this will work with the API. So based on actions people take outside your site, you can create workflows again with Pabbly or Zapier that will automatically assign tags. Later, you can, if people have certain fields filled out on their profile, we can assign tags to them, like, has filled out this field on their profile, like added an image, or they filled out their insurance information. We can do later conditional things like that. So it'll evolve over time. So this will be the first iteration, pretty straightforward, just tagging members and searching members who have certain tags. So pretty excited about that one. This next one here, we also expect a May release, the ability for your digital products to support both custom donation amounts as well as recurring subscriptions. Currently, digital products only support one-time pay products, or you can set them as free. Basically, they're just opting into to get access to whatever that digital product is for free. And I have a small example to show you guys. Let me show you from the website owner's perspective when you're creating your digital product, what you're going to see. Let me go to manage posts, and I'll go ahead and just edit this digital product here. So what you'll see once this is released, and yeah, we do expect before the end of this month, when you're creating a digital product, prior to this update, you would just have the buy button text and the price. What you're gonna have when this is released are a drop-down with 4 options for the payment type of this digital product. So it can be a free product, so you're just establishing it as a $0, anyone can grab it, thing like that. Maybe it's an ebook, they just have to, create a subscribe as a free account, and then they can get access. One-time payment, we're all familiar with that. A recurring subscription, so you can choose if this digital product is a recurring subscription. So maybe it's access to premium areas of your site. Maybe this is alternate services you're selling outside your website. Maybe you're selling marketing services, SEO services. Maybe it's a subscription for something that's off your website. You can choose what's available when they for the recurring amounts, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. And then you can have custom donations as well. So you'll notice here the price fields go away, but you can choose what type of donations people can do: monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or a one-time. So depending on what you check, that will be available on the front end when the person is trying to make their donation. In addition to this, if you have the member credits add-on, you'll be able to sell credits to your members. It won't be on a recurring basis at this stage. It'll just be for their initial payment. But what you can do is set it up so if somebody pays, let's do one-time payment for $100, they will get $200 in credits. So this incentivizes them to purchase credits at a discount. The important part here is this next setting: allow using existing credits for this purchase. So this, if you want them to straight up pay $100 to get $200 of credits and not use their existing credits towards this purchase, we're gonna set this to no. But if we wanna allow them to use credits for this purchase of this digital product, we want to set this to yes. We'll do an in-depth dive on this in a separate webinar, but this kind of is a breakdown of the new features that will be available. And I won't do anything else but just show you a quick example of what some of the payment options look at when the user is checking them out on the front end. So here are just sample test products we're doing on this site here. This is just a digital product where you would be able to choose recurring amounts here. So monthly, semi-annually, annually, and then based on what they select here, they can go ahead and purchase it. There's also a sidebar module available. It's optional, so you can have both in the body and the sidebar. Let's go back here and let's look at a donation amount. So a donation example is there will be an input field. Again, both you can have it in the sidebar as optional, and based on the checkboxes you selected, they will be available here. So if you only selected monthly, there won't be any drop down. It'll just be the monthly option. But if you've selected multiple, they will be available here, and the user can go ahead and decide how much they want to donate. So it's very simple and straightforward, but this should allow a lot of sites to collect additional revenue from their members and website visitors with these new tools and features. I know the first question that's coming to people's mind, can it support quantity limits? Can we have a shopping cart? Probably in the near future, we're going to release this, let the dust settle a bit, and then we're going to explore the best plan if we're going to implement shopping cart functionality as well as quantity limits. And then lastly here, and I know there's been a lot of updates here. Hopefully you guys are excited as I am. The last one here is an email outbox. So this, we're looking to have this released in May as well. So right now you really can't see all the system emails that your site is sending out when someone signs up, leaves a review, gets a lead. So this is going to be just an email outbox to show you all the individual emails that are being sent out from your website. Not only so you can see them, but you can also see the status. If they failed and bounced, you can see all of those and take moderation action if you need to find a way to contact the member. Maybe they incorrectly put their email address and so forth. I have a small preview of what that's going to look like. This is just a screenshot of the mock-up. It will be in your activity trackers where we're deciding right now. You'll have a separate tab called Email Outbox. And what you're going to see is just a stream of the email sent out from your website. And you'll actually see the body and substance of what that email included. And on the right side, you're going to have the activity. So you'll be able to see if it's delivered, opened, failed, bounced, etc., even clicked on. So that will be very useful for website owners, not only to see the activity, but you can actually feel the pulse of your website and how people are interacting with it. So there's a lot of updates, a lot of exciting stuff coming this May and also recently released. Before we move on over to the tip of the week, just looking at this slide, if you have any questions, feel free to use the raise your hand feature or any comments that you want to make about these upcoming features. We'd love to hear them. And then we'll move on to the tip of the week. I'll move over to Veronica here. How you doing, Veronica?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you? So glad to join you guys again. I've been real diligent about being here every time you have something. So this is awesome. Love the new features. Kudos, thumbs up. Excellent. I know it's a lot of hard work, but we appreciate it. My question is about the digital products, and it's not about a shopping cart or anything like that, but my question really is that my site is for the spa industry, and so we have, like, t-shirts and other paraphernalia or whatever for our company outside of the membership, but some members would like to maybe purchase t-shirts or something, or I don't know, a towel or something or whatever. Would digital products be in that same category? And then the second part to that question is, will this ever be available for the members to use on their membership, on their actual pages? Because as it stands right now, they have the opportunity to, they have a tab for products, but it's not as dynamic as what you just showed, the digital products. So is it just available for admin, the site
Gotcha.
owner?
I'm with you. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. So with regard to the we'll call it the swag, like t-shirts and stuff like that, that's great. The only thing you'd want to do is on the success page after they pay, you might want to have a form that congratulates them on their purchase and then to enter the shipping address that they want for that, because the payment form doesn't have fields for additional information. So they're going to pay, and then on the thank you page, you can have a separate form for them to confirm their shipping address for that physical product that they like. So that's just kind of a dirty workaround that I'd recommend for something like that. With regards to allowing members to sell their products and get paid for their products, we've talked about that. It is a little murky for us because it goes into what's called a multi-vendor marketplace platform, more like an Etsy or even like a freelancer.com or a Fiverr, where the website is collecting the money and then paying it out. I would say not the roadblock, but just the thing that we have to come around is who's going to collect the money first. And the closest we've gotten to this, because we've talked about it, is if we can allow the member, the easiest thing would be allow the member to kind of put like their PayPal email address, and in those instances allow the website, the member to just get paid through PayPal and get notified when someone purchases that product.
Right.
That wouldn't allow for the website to take like a 5% cut or anything like that. There's other ways where you set it up where if a certain product is purchased, the member gets an affiliate commission, and you pay them out at the end of the month, like 95% of that sale. So you get 100% of the money up front, and then they get 95% as an affiliate for selling that product through your site.
That's a lot to manage.
It's a lot to manage. And then there's fulfillment and fraud and things like that. So if your members are posting things and not fulfilling on the purchase, the purchaser is going to get mad at the website. And of course, you can have terms and conditions and recourse and reporting and flagging, but it just adds a level of complexity when you put the power into the members' hands to sell their products through a site. That's why it's like we're 2 steps away from it, but it's a big pivot to go in that direction.
Can I suggest something that I'm sure you guys have kicked the can on a few times? So I'm wondering if, just like I've got all your, your VIP features, I have all of those, but I'm wondering if it would be something to have that in, for every site, to have that as an add-on for members. I mean, let that be an add-on for members where they would have to pay an additional maybe $5 a month or whatever for that feature to be able to sell digital products on their page. And then that way they would still be in control of everything that they had, fulfillment, payment, collecting payment, all of that, and have that noted that this is,
Right. You can have all, this is their store. It's like their yeah, I see that. You could sell that as a digital product to your members, as an admin digital product to your members, and then give them that service. You can clone the digital product, but have one called like digital product members. And on that page, the search results page and the detail page, you can put all the buyer beware notices you want, and like any conflicts with this order, and you can publicize their phone number and email address that maybe you've pre-verified, so they know, the consumer knows that purchasing this, they're going to have to take it up with the seller, not the website per se.
Okay, so we could do that right now then, is that what you're saying?
You could do that, but they don't have a way to connect their PayPal or get paid. The website would still get paid first right now. So we need the logic for the member to connect their PayPal or something like that to the site.
Okay, no big deal. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much time, but
no worries.
Last question. You mentioned for these digital products, the part that I missed was, how are the payments going through for if I was to sell swag, right? And I have the drop down menu, one-time purchase, whatever, and they're wanting like 2 t-shirts or whatever it is. What happens after that? Because I know we don't have a shopping cart. I know we don't have, a couple of things that are missing there. How are these people making their payment? I know they have the option to use credit that they already have, but if they choose to use something else, how are we doing that?
So it would just be the payment method through the website. So if you have Stripe connected, they're going to get a pop-up, and the pop-up, let's say it's annual. You just click on this. Let's say this is a purchase for t-shirts. This says annually, but assume it's one time. They're just going to finish their purchase here.
Oh, okay, that's the part I missed, because I was like, this is okay.
I should have shown that. No, it's a valid point there. So anything you select here, like $10 one-time donation, if you click this, it's going to be a pop-up with basically the order summary. So that's a valid question there.
Got it. Okay. I'm good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great questions there. Thank you, Veronica. All right, Stephen, I got you here. Let me unmute your microphone, Stephen.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Okay. How's everyone doing? How you doing? Great work, guys. Thank you. So 2 real quick questions. The first one has to do with the export, preferred export fields. Is it possible that you can do the exact same thing for the syncing of the smart lists? Because it's the same concept where you have like a whole bunch of possible fields that you can move over. And is that possible?
We don't have that yet, but that's not a bad solution, because there is a lot of data being sent, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So choosing what data sent when, smart lists syncing. I'll pass that on and see what we can do about that.
I mean, it seems like it's the same logic, really. It seems like it's the exact same logic.
It's close to it, yeah, and it actually might be even better, because it'll reduce the total size of data being sent, which is always a plus.
Exactly, yeah. And the second question is regarding that email verification link that serves as a trigger. for Pabbly or for Zapier. Is there anything unique about that link? And what I'm asking is it possible for me then to create my own link? You know, a link that takes them to a particular website, for example, or does whatever, you know, and then if they click that particular link, it then serves as a trigger, or is it something unique about the verification link?
This one is specifically unique to that email verification link. Creating custom links and emails and then doing triggers, again, interesting. By the way, there isn't anything like that, but I'm gonna note that too, because that actually is useful too. Webhook for custom links in emails clicked. Again, it's just conceptual thinking about it, but that's a good suggestion there, Stephen.
Okay, just wanted to ask. Go ahead. That's it for me. Thank you.
Appreciate. And just a shout out to Stephen. He's asked some good questions in the past that have led to some updates. So thank you there. I will take two more questions before we go on to the tip of the week. Ronnie, I got you here. Let me unmute your microphone. Just make sure you're unmuted on your end, Ronnie. There we go.
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
Very good. Where are you calling in from, Ronnie?
I'm calling in from, well, I'm actually physically planted in Georgia right now, visiting my family way out in the country, but I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, I'm assuming for Mother's Day, maybe. I don't wanna...
No, I came for the
No.
whole month, but I'm getting Mother's Day in there.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
I don't want to take your time up. One thing I wanted to share with all of you that are here today that I did, you know, we have people who come in and we sell training on our website, and that's the biggest appeal of the site. And then we have people who downgrade, you know, and go to our free listing level. And we actually charge now for even the free listing, at least, well, we call it listing only now at annual. We're about, I think, 5 years in with you guys. Actually, we have 5 years now. Thank you for our 10,000 users. So I've always wondered, how can I bring these people back? And I don't want to send out thousands of emails. So one thing that I did was I created a membership level just for those people on that free listing if they were there before a certain date. So after a while, I said, hey, if you come back, we'll give you the old time rates. And it's actually worked, bringing people back. When they log into their listing, they go in and update their listing. They're seeing this upgrade now message and get the old time rates. We appreciate you being here this long. We'd love to offer you the rates when you first started. And it actually worked as a great marketing ploy. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. If you're wondering of a way to recapture people who might downgrade from a higher level, offering them, you know, if they've been there since the beginning or whatever, 5 years later, all I had to do was create the membership levels and duplicate and make them the same pricing, and then they switch over. The only caveat is I have to go back in and move them to the other level pretty quickly so they can have access to everything.
Gotcha. That's a great suggestion. Any reason to do a promo is always a good reason to do a promo, especially if you can, you know, it's good context and framing around it and makes sense to the consumer. So that is great suggestion there, Ronnie. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. It leads to one question though, and I'll make it very quick. I mentioned it before, but now I'm going to start mentioning it all the time because I really think it would be beneficial. For the people who unsubscribe to the subscribe list or that are members that unsubscribe, is there any way that you can use this new tag feature or create something that if someone has a listing, but they unsubscribe to your email? Because that's also important when we have special things for members and we don't know if they're getting the email, so maybe we can use a text message instead.
Let me check one thing real quick for you. That's a good question. If we go to search members, I'm just curious here. We do have forms submitted. Let me see if unsubscribe. Yeah, the unsubscribe form is here. So if they filled that out, you can search for people who have filled out this form, meaning their email was filled out for this form. That will give you an indicator of who's filled out the unsubscribe list, the unsubscribe form.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, guys, with that, I think that was a good Q&A. Thank you. If you have questions, you just save them for a little bit. We'll move on to actually the tip of the week, which is related to the newsletters and the emails. David has some updates on what the new newsletter update system includes and some of the benefits of it. So if it's okay with you, David, I'd like to pass over the reins and you can kind of take us through this little tip of the week today.
Absolutely. Super excited to share this update with everyone. We've got a lot of updates actually kind of bundled into this one single update here with the newsletter and email functionality. So this really helps to create a more all-encompassing and complete all-in-one solution that we shoot for BD being. With this, the goal was to try to reduce all of your reliance on alternate email solutions. These would be dedicated email marketing platforms. The most common, probably MailChimp, SendGrid, maybe Campaign Monitor or Active Campaign. So we really wanted to try to include as many new features as we could that would give you just a lot more information, a lot more flexibility with the built-in tools so that you don't have to rely on these dedicated third-party platforms and solutions quite as much.
Yeah, and what we were aiming for, because we've used these internally, a lot of these solutions ourselves. These are dedicated email sending solutions. So what we wanted to do is at least take 80 to 90% of what they offer users and bring it directly into the Brilliant Directories platform, as David said. So you don't have to rely on these alternate email solutions. Just making BD like a stronger and better all-in-one, especially related to email marketing, sending newsletters, and more.
Yeah, and we will show you a demo of the new email system, the newsletter system here, but we figured the best way to kind of explain some of the major and primary benefits of the new version is just through this real simple comparison chart here between the old version and the newly released version of the newsletter and email functionality. So just going right down this list here, individually create and edit newsletters and email blasts. So with the old newsletter system, you needed to first create an email template, and then from there, you would be able to send it out right away or make any necessary changes to a template before sending it out. You can still create new email templates and edit existing ones, but now you'll be able to go right into creating a brand new newsletter without being required to first select a template to start from. So that should help make things get going a whole lot faster and easier. Also, excluding smart lists. So with the old newsletter system, you could include smart lists to send newsletters to. So you could check off which smart lists would be the recipients of a newsletter that you were sending out. But now you can also choose to exclude smart lists when sending a newsletter. So for example, you can choose to send a newsletter to all of your members, but exclude your inactive members, or exclude members in a specific location, or exclude members who first joined on a particular date, scenarios like that. So that should give you some more flexibility in terms of your recipient lists and who you're sending newsletters out to. Detailed statistics, this is probably one of the bigger updates here and benefits with the new version of the newsletter and email system. So with the old system, you could see which smart lists you sent a newsletter to, but the only real data you were given was how many emails were sent out in that newsletter blast and how many of those emails bounced. Now you'll see full stats on delivered emails, failed emails, opened emails, the number of clicks on links that were included in the email that was sent out. Overall, just much more transparency, providing you with ideally more information on how you may be able to improve your future newsletters performance. So really looking forward to showing off that update there. You'll also be able to create smart lists based on those particular statistics. So you can target specific recipients in your future newsletters. So for example, you can send out a newsletter, make a smart list of recipients who opened that email, and then send another newsletter to that smart list saying, so you opened the email from yesterday, and you can present them with a special offer, or make a smart list of recipients who didn't open that initial email and send them an alternate email, employing a different strategy to try to get their attention. Future scheduling, another huge, more so quality of life update here. With the old system, if you wanted to send out a newsletter at, say, 6 a.m. tomorrow, you'd have to wake up tomorrow and manually click the send button at 6 a.m. Now you'll be able to draft your newsletters in advance, select the recipients of those newsletters, and then schedule when you would like those newsletters to be sent out. So much more convenient with that one there. Flexible monthly sending limits. With the old newsletter system, there was a limit of 1,000 emails per batch. So if you wanted to send a newsletter to 1,500 members, it needed to be done in 2 batches. Now, if you want to send a newsletter to more than 1,000 recipients at a time, you can opt to increase your sending limit based on your list size at far cheaper rates actually than virtually all of the dedicated email marketing platforms. So that's a great benefit there. And then lastly, our team will always be working to provide further improvements and updates, in this case, specifically related to more detailed reporting and statistics, providing you with additional default newsletter templates to make it easier to quickly send out newsletters and draft them as well, creating new pre-made content blocks specifically for newsletters that you can easily drag and drop into your emails. We've got a lot of pre-made content blocks already. They're really useful when you're building web pages. They're still useful when you're drafting emails and newsletters, but they're not specifically catered to the types of content that might be included in newsletters. So we're going to be working on creating some new pre-made content blocks specifically for newsletters to make it easier and faster to draft those modern, great looking emails and much more updates beyond that as well. So overall, just a huge update here with a lot of really amazing new features.
Yeah, and with the ongoing systems, as David mentioned, now that this new system is released, you'll be able to use the old system through May 31st, 2024, or you can just opt to start using the new system. Both will be available. But moving forward, after this is released, we're going to create more standard newsletter templates that you can start with, more blocks, as David mentioned, more variables that you can use. So now that this is released, we're going to make kind of designing a newsletter. That'll be our next frontier that we want, making that a lot easier. And yeah, with that, we've done it in a previous webinar, but we can kind of see the update in action and see some examples of the workflows of how this will work. And we can actually schedule a sample newsletter and see how that is going to work. Okay, great. So we're in the admin area here, and we'll go to send newsletter here. And let's just give it a minute here. All right, so we're on the legacy system here. So if you're using the older limit, we're just doing a ton of testing on this site here. But if we're here, we can see that there is a new version available. So Ronnie and anyone else, Colette, I know you've sent newsletters in the past. You can continue using the same newsletter system that you've always used through May 31st of this to the end of this month, and it'll be exactly the same. Or you can go ahead and click try it now, the new email sending here, and it will bring you to the new email newsletter system. And when we're here, we can see kind of the difference of just from this page what you're seeing. I'll just even open up this previous page here. When you come to this page, if you're still comfortable with the older newsletter system version, you can click back to legacy, and again, that'll work through May 31st, 2024. So I'll just open this. We could do a side by side here. So just a lot better stats here. Basically what we're seeing here is you can see the delivered rate, any failed emails. So these are invalid emails, bounces, things like that. I'll show you more on that. Who opened and who clicked. So what's really awesome, as David was saying, is for any of these stats after a send, you can go ahead and click on it here. And what you're going to see are the statistics for that email send. And from this, you can create a smart list. So currently we're looking at the people who opened an email. And again, we see here the journey, delivered, opened, clicked, soft bounce, delivered, open. So you can actually visually see the journey of this email to that recipient. And if we toggle here, we can also see recipients that were omitted. These are people with either invalid email addresses, people on the unsubscribe list. So you can see it here, and you can obviously filter for some of these reasons as well. Same domain, it won't send to emails that are part of your same domain. Excluded smart list, so if you've excluded certain smart lists, and I'll show you that in a second, you see that here. So you get a lot more granular reporting here. You can even see who reported you as spam once they received your email and they clicked on the spam complaint in their inbox. So you can decide not to send to these people in the future. You can make a smart list of them and so on. But let's go to the newsletter creation aspect of this. So we'll create a new newsletter. And prior to this, all you would do is select a template, and that's all you could do with your newsletters. Choose a email template you worked on before, and then choose your recipients and send it. So you could do a lot more now. We'll just call this a webinar test. And what's cool here is you can certainly start with a blank template, or if you send monthly newsletters or you have a template saved that you do like, you can also choose that. but it's not going to only just use that template. You can start editing further. We have a ton of tests here, but I'll just go ahead and choose one of these here. Don't know what's in it exactly. It's just part of a test, but we can go ahead and select a template to start with. But the cool part is now we can actually start editing this. Prior to this, you couldn't do any further editing. You'd have to do it as the email template. So you can go ahead and edit the template as you see fit. What's awesome is you can choose a custom from name. Maybe it's your website name, the admin of the site, the support center, whatever it is, who's sending it. And then also the from address. So it could be info at, your name at, et cetera, et cetera. And what we were talking about, the enhancements coming soon, is this area here where you're designing your site. We're going to try to enhance that over time and make it a little more user-friendly, add more content blocks and more. What's also nice is there's a nice preview here. So it'll show you a preview of your email. So while you're working on your email, you can just keep toggling back and forth to the preview tab and it'll dynamically update. Even better, let me show you a cool example here. If you wanted to see your email with a member's name in it, so here we have Fern, his member ID is 21404. So if we do right here, I'll just do something real quick. And again, this is all going to be a lot easier soon enough, but we'll just kind of do quick and dirty right here. So if we put the first name here, that's the variable for the first name. If we go to preview email, we're not going to see the first name here because it's a preview. But if you put the member's ID number in here, it should update it with their name here. So you can see the preview from the member's perspective. Right now it's working with the ID. Later you'll be able to type in a name and you'll be able to see the preview as a member would receive it. So that's pretty cool. And I think the most valuable part of this entire update is selecting the recipients and the excluding certain smart lists. So as David mentioned, let's say we want to send this email to all our members, but we want to exclude other smart lists that we have. People in Florida with Outlook emails, we were just doing tests here, but now it omits these people even if they were on this list. And only a few emailing platforms offer this exclude option. So I'm kind of just a little bit of pride and happy that we're able to offer this to the Brilliant Directories community because it makes it a lot easier to send more laser focused emails to particular segments. So here you can omit and things like that. Let's actually switch this up. And we'll just add this one here. And if we go to scheduling emails, also what was missing from the previous option was the ability to schedule for later. So now, as David said, if you want to send your email, the next morning at 8 a.m. or whatever time you want, you can certainly do that. You don't have to wake up at that time and click that send button. So this will be available here, or you can do send now, and then you can click to schedule your email. All the while, you can save your draft as you're making changes to your email, and then you can also send test emails to yourself. You can include up to 3 recipients in your test emails, and you can also send the test email as a member would receive it. You can see it here, and then you would receive the email as this member. So pretty cool stuff here with this, pretty straightforward, but a huge ways away from where we were with the email newsletter previous one. Let's actually look at the older one here. You had a simple table here, and when you wanted to do a new newsletter, you'd basically have this grid here. You'd have some of the same options there. You were also limited to 1,000 recipients per send. Now, if your list size is greater, there are options to opt for larger sending limits so that you can send the email to your entire list in one batch rather than waiting daily and sending, a batch of 1,000 at a time. Let's see here. Let's go back to the stats here. And also, if you click on an email that's been sent and click on View Details, it'll kind of give you an overview of that email send, who scheduled it, the send date, and the lists that were included and the lists that were excluded from that send, and the total qualifying recipients from that send. So you get a little snapshot of that email along with the stats here. Anything else I need to mention at this point, David? The filterings here, you can search by date, the status of an email. So if you want to see all the emails that were canceled, you can cancel an email in the middle of its sending if you need to. You can also see all your draft emails here, the ones that are pending that haven't been sent yet that you're working on. And what's really cool is if you've done a newsletter email and you've sent it, I'll just show this one final thing here. If you look at your sent emails, what's nice is with all your emails, you can create a clone. So again, you can, if your newsletters are always the same, just the content is changing for each month or whatever it is, you can create the clone, and then all you need to do is change the content in that newsletter send as you're editing your email, your newsletter draft. So with just a few clicks, you can just rapidly clone your previous newsletters that you've sent and send a brand new newsletter. Anything else we need to mention there? I know it's pretty straightforward there, David, but lots of exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think that covers it. Looks like a lot of people in the chat are excited for this big update here. Really looking forward to the future updates as well when it comes to further statistics and drafting newsletters.
Likewise. And again, this is the first iteration. I'm sure things are going to come up. One thing I'm going to mention is there is a button here. It says beta newsletter update. If you do experience an issue, our team is online and we'd love to be alerted. There is a report an issue button here. It'll be here for the next few weeks until we roll into June. So if you do experience any issues, please notify our team. We'll rectify them for you guys as quickly as possible. And yeah, with that, we can move on to the questions and answers, the Q&A section. Ryan, I do see your hand up there. We'll go ahead and start with you. And would love any questions you have or any feedback you have.
Hey, great stuff, guys. I was just putting the YouTube chat. This is probably one of the biggest move the needle sessions in one group that you guys have done with the tags and the especially the subscriptions for the products. Really good job this time. Had a quick question. This is more of a workflow thing. It kind of ties in all these things that you guys have. I didn't hear you guys mention these three things, so I'm just going to throw these out there just so you can put them on the maybe to-do list, and they're probably already on your scope for this. But really, what I think would raise the bar and kind of actually replace the ability and some of the stuff that I use that I think a lot of other people use that would really tie this together. But the first one would be, unless I missed these, but tagging somebody when they buy something, so that they auto get tagged with a kind of a purchased X or a subscriber to magazine or whatever. So you tag them when they buy something. And then the second piece of that is being able in the emails to add tags instead of smart lists, so you can email the tags as well. Because right now it would be a manual process that you'd have to manually add the tag and then add a tag to a smart list and then select the smart list of the email. So if they could just email to a tag. And then you guys have the scheduling thing, which also is amazing. It would be great if you could do the auto scheduling, like when somebody is tagged, it sends that email. So to kind of really be an autoresponder. So that having those three things where you can tag them when they buy something, having preset emails set up for that tag, and then auto do it when they do get tagged, that would be game change.
I'm with you. Auto scheduling, an active email campaign, and sending the email when a condition is met. Okay, fantastic
But
suggestions.
Good job.
Yeah, appreciate it, Ryan. These are all great. I think that'll be the next iteration with tags, is kind of this dynamic movement of when actions happen on the front end of the site, automatic tagging can take place. And then once that's happening, the next iteration will be certain actions can happen, such as sending an email and things like that. So yeah, certainly appreciate the feedback there, Ryan, as always. Thank you. All right, let's move on. We got a good friend, Roger, here. Let me unmute your microphone, Roger.
There we on.
How you doing, Roger? Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Superior, Wisconsin.
All right, welcome to the webinar. What's your question for us?
Well, first I have to tell you, I'm really excited about the newsletters and the donation button. I had asked about that donation thing a couple months ago, I think, and you said that was future, and here it is. So when are those rolled out?
So this May, we're looking to have both the emails live now, and the donation should be released, I hope, by the next webinar. So within the next 2 weeks, at least by this month of May for sure.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Finally, I have some of those sites are live, and when they got white labeled, the help center disappeared in those sites. I can easily get to the help center with the chat box in like the one I'm working on right now that we're just looking at. But otherwise, when I'm in a live site now, the help center at the bottom right corner with the chat bot, all of that is missing.
Correct. So there's an option, but this is good information for anyone. If you ever have staff or you made a site for a client, if you're an agency and such, you can remove all the Brilliant Directories Help Center text here. So Roger, if you have the white labeled admin, you're not going to see any of the Brilliant Directories Help Center links.
Okay.
But if you want to undo that, you can just notify the support team to remove the white label from the admin if you prefer to have the help center links there.
Oh, okay. But it would still be white labeled, but it would just have the help center added back in, or would it remove the white label completely?
It would. So the white label means we don't brand with Brilliant Directories in the admin. The only thing that kind of indicates that it's a Brilliant Directories admin are kind of the help documents and the chat stuff.
Oh, I see.
And that's to help the website owner. So once we quote unquote white label the admin, effectively we're just removing help center links and things like that. So it's just there's no help from Brilliant Directories in the admin when you quote unquote white label it.
I get it. Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Roger. Thank you for the questions. All right, good stuff there. Let's see who's got their hand up. We got Lisa here. Let me unmute your microphone, Lisa.
Hi, Jason. Hi, David. Great updates. One small suggestion on the newsletter before I get into my main issue, and that would be in the variables. When you copied the variable, it had 1%, symbol.
Yes.
And I would recommend doing all three so that when we are copying and pasting from one to another, it'll take the correct, mixed case, title case, all caps, whatever, however they enter.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to also share one more thing about that since we're on that same topic. Let me see if I can get to there, just since we're talking about it. Let me go to newsletters. Oops. All right, I'll come back to it. What I was going to say is we're going to put the newsletter as part of the editor. So you just click a toolbar in the editor. You don't have to go to the sidebar, and you just select the variable you want, and it'll add it directly from the text editor into the body of the email.
Even better. Perfect.
All right, what's your question for us?
So I'm actually having an issue, and probably you'll want to go to my site, My RV Resource.
Okay.
And so forgive me because I'm reading a message that me and my husband formulated. So we've noticed that since March, there's been a lot more of the page not found messages on the website. And when we dug into it, we found that a bunch of URLs are causing these errors. And it seems like the issue might be because we changed the top level category to RV Service Pros. And
are these Google Search Console warnings?
Some of them are, yes.
Okay, so they're saying that there's pages that can't be found that previously were able to be found.
Yes.
Okay, and it sounds like you changed the URL of the top level category.
So we changed the URL in its entirety when we brought in all of our, so my concern is, how does changing the URL impact all of those things?
Okay, so couple things you should take into consideration, because I know you had a previous version of your site. So let me actually open up. So let me share with you a couple things you can and should do. One is 404 page warnings aren't necessarily bad on their own. Sites have old pages that they turn off all the time. What I would recommend doing is, if you're seeing those 404 warnings or page not found and they were important pages, I would create a 301 redirect. I think we talked about this before. A 301 redirect to the correct and corresponding URL for that page that exists now.
And
go ahead.
I think you've done that, and I want you to check and make sure we've done that correctly.
Let's do that together then. Let's go to your 301 redirects, and over here, what's one of the error pages that you found in the reporting that you got?
Hang on one second. Let me get to that. Let's type in castle-rock and see if that one comes up. Oh.
So what's the URL? What's the old URL for that?
It was United States of America, Colorado, Castle Rock Business RV Repair Shop.
Okay. Let's just look. You said Colorado? Let's just do a search for your site. Let's find the correct one first. What's the name of the business?
I believe it's just Castle Rock.
Okay, I'll just search Castle here. So Castle Rock, Colorado, company name Castle. There's a few of them here. There's a lot of Castle Rocks.
Okay, wait. Let me give you a better thing here.
But in a nutshell, what you can do is let's take this one for example. So the new and correct URL is United States, Colorado, Castle Rock. So if you had an old URL for this business and it's giving you a page not found, what you can do is you'd want to create a 301 redirect rule for that.
So that one, Jason, is the old, and we've changed it to add RV Service Pros as the top level category.
Got it. So you're showing the top level category now in the URL structure.
Correct.
Okay. There is a tool, if you can email the support team, it's going to be public for the general BD community soon. Ask them to email the support team, ask them to do the update member URLs on their end. What that's going to do is going to update all the existing member URLs based on the new profile URL format that you have, and it should automatically create the redirects for that update. So what you're saying is you have a new format for the member profile URL. This is currently the active URL for this member, but you want it to update to include the top level category in here.
Yes, because that's the way that it was on the old WordPress site. And we thought the remedy was to change that top level category. But what's happening is, since we're doing this, since it only gets updated either when I do a quick edit or when the member comes in and does it, or something active happens, it seems like it creates multiple pages every time we do that individually. So that makes me nervous with using this tool and updating 12,000 listings. Is that going to cause a huge problem?
No, it doesn't cause a huge problem. What it's going to do is the live URLs are going to exist and the old URLs are going to point to the new URLs. So it's actually the best thing that you could do in that case.
Okay. So I need to have them do them all.
Tell them to do it all. And then moving forward, it's going to be the correct format because you've chosen that format moving forward in that advanced setting. So just to show everyone what you're referring to here, we'll go to the advanced setting. And what you've done is, let me just search profile URL. Let's see if that gets it. Yeah. So what you're doing is just the top level category and the name for the profile URL structure. Is that how you're going to want it moving forward?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when they run that function, it's going to update all the existing members to this format, and it will also create the 301 redirects. So any of these, we'll call them bad URLs that are ranking in Google right now, the link juice or the value won't go to waste. It won't be page not found. It'll be page redirected to this new URL structure. And that should remedy like probably 90% of this page not found issues you're having with your member profile pages.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And then leave the URLs alone. We can't really do any more profile changing because we considered doing a customized, a tailored URL for our Premier members to remove that RV Service Pro category so that their name was right after our domain. And so we should we do that or no?
Yeah, do that. Sell it as a service. And I mean, just create the 301 redirect when you're doing the custom rule, when you're doing the custom domain rule. Then if that page is ranking in Google already and you're going to change the domain, the proper best practices is to create that 301 redirect rule. So both URLs will work effectively, but the one that's going to start indexing in Google is the newer one, and eventually Google will drop the older URL that's now pointing to the newer URL.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate you, Jason.
Of course, yeah, your site's looking great. Good questions there. Lisa's power user here with her site. Let's continue here. We got some more hands up. We got Stephen here. Let me unmute your microphone again here, Stephen.
Yeah. So great work on the newsletter. I'm very excited about it. Quick question. It's actually a follow-up question because it's something that I brought up a while ago to see if there's any consideration for, and that is being able to schedule newsletters on interval basis. So, for example, I know of a company, for example, that every other Wednesday they offer a webinar, and I get an email 1 week before the webinar starts, and then I also get another email reminder 1 hour before the webinar starts. So that type of thing, that kind of use case, is that something that's possible? Obviously, you know who the company is, right? So is that possible?
It's not possible right now. Right now, the options would be to send now or schedule for the future. However, similar to what Ryan was saying, is some type of an auto scheduling. based on certain tagging conditions or signing up to something conditions. I don't think Brilliant Directories is going to go into the full email workflow automation things. However, I do think we may dabble into just like sending an email, a delay time, sending another email, like the most basic thing we can do for a workflow. So with regard to what you're saying is, basically, let's say someone fills out a form. I'm trying to think. It wouldn't be based on a time. It would go out on a certain day and time, like one day before something.
I wasn't even thinking that sophisticated, really. I was just thinking like the beginning of the month, to be able to schedule it for the beginning of the month, the first of the month, or the 15th of the month, every month on the 15th, or that type of thing, which I think sounds a lot less simple than automation.
No, this actually, Matt and I were talking about this here before, is having like an open campaign that does something that exactly what you're mentioning, where either if someone hits a tag or a smart list, they get a certain email and it omits people who have already received that email. Yeah, so I'd say in the future, we can let this marinate and simmer, but I think there's going to be some evolution to this with some of the stuff that you're suggesting and others have suggested here.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like what BD does every Wednesday. Like I said, I get an email from you guys.
Right.
And I'm assuming you're not sending it out, hitting send, right? I'm assuming it's automated in some way.
It is automated with GoToWebinar, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there, Stephen. Yeah, it's super exciting stuff. I think we're going to see a little bit of evolution as time goes by with this. Let's see here. I think we're just about out of time. I'm going to let Jean-Michel here, good friend. Let me unmute you here. We'll take your question. How you doing, Jean-Michel?
Hello, Jason. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, buddy. How you doing today?
Good. So it's more like a general question, and if there is a webinar you can point me to listen, I will. It's about, because my website are still in development, but I'm procrastinating about the pricing, and I'm curious to hear your input about the best strategy to for the initial pricing of the paying members.
Okay. Do you want to take a look at your site, or do you want to just talk hypothetical?
You can, it's quebecenvelo.com.
Let's take a look at your pricing page together. Okay, so I can't read it myself, but let me know who is the target audience that will be signing up to your site?
So it's a website aimed at cyclist enthusiasts, anyone who practice the sport. And right now, my target is to offer the paying membership for businesses like bike shops and professionals working in the industry as well.
Okay, this is a great topic, by the way. So anytime we're doing pricing, there's a few automatic things that we can do. The first thing we can do is we can look at competitor sites or sites in the similar industry and see generally what the pricing is that they have. Generally, that's an indicator for a couple of things. One is what's the going rate for this type of service, online listing for this industry. It's also demonstrates and illustrates kind of the limit that people in this industry can or are willing to pay. So more affluent industries or more enterprise corporate industries, probably it's a higher ticket membership plan. And as we get to smaller services and simpler services, and smaller groups and private organizations, the ticket price of a membership probably goes down. So that would be my first suggestion. Are you in line with competitors and things of this industry right now, based on the pricing you have?
There's not many competitors. There are others options, but like Directory and what I want to offer with the website, there's not many competitors, so the pricing is a bit in the air. Like for me, I'm thinking, okay, is it the egg or the chicken?
Sure.
Because
okay. So another thing we can do here is, and this looks very straightforward, you can create a sense of urgency. You can have like a founding members promotion. You can put the normal price as $99 per month and say that currently you can sign up for $49.99 a month.
Okay.
So you can do things like that. Are you advertising this as a new networking group or a new website, or are you trying to kind of pull it off? It's been established and online for many years.
No, I will launch it as a new thing, but I do have a big network and email list ready.
Okay.
It's just because I'm conscious about the fact that if the pricing is not right, it can affect the launch success. So it's a bit why it's
Okay. So another thing here, and again, I can't read here, but this seems like a pretty tight-knit community of enthusiasts and people who are passionate about, the art of bicycling. And it sounds like you're going to be reaching out to vendors and companies that service the cycling, market. What I would recommend putting here is not only that they're advertising their listing, but I would do an emotional touch also, that you're supporting the cycling industry. Just put like 3 big things that all the membership plans include, like by joining, just make them like badges or something, like support the cyclist industry, obviously in French. Basically some bigger things that they're going to get, like your brand will be showcased to maybe say how many people are in your network, like 10,000 cyclists, 1,000 cyclists, that they're going to get visibility, because these things will add more perceived value. I can't read this, but are you just itemizing benefits of the listing they get?
yeah.
Like 10
I
categories?
haven't put much emphasis on on this page yet.
No worries. I would put not only what they get with each listing, but put the bigger picture of why they should join the website, which is being visible within the industry, who they're going to reach, that they're supporting the cycling industry, they're going to get the visibility to cyclists, and that they're, things like that. So I would try to make an emotional connection. The reason for that is that's going to help justify your pricing. I don't know if you have a high price or low price for this industry, but I wouldn't sell yourself short. The cycling, like tennis and golf, is one of the more affluent sports out there. So again, you might want to show a higher ticket price of like $1,000 a year. You can play around with numbers later, but $50 per month is what, $600 a year? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Canadian dollars, so it's not much.
Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't sell yourself short. You can have a higher price. You can call them your founding members, or come up with another clever name. You can ask ChatGPT, but you can let them know that signing up early, they're going to be getting a discount, and maybe add some incentives for the first 100 people who sign up, or through the end of June, if you sign up, you're going to get an extra year free if you pay annually. Things like that, just to get the ball rolling. So I would make an emotional connection. I would add a sense of urgency, like again, showing that the price is currently on sale. You can start really high and then cut it. And then also, I wouldn't go too low as well. If you price it too low, again, for the industry, you might actually not get anyone's interest. When something's more expensive, sometimes people will actually take it a little bit more seriously.
Okay, and just one last question about the pricing. Is my rationale correct, thinking that the other members, like the normal cyclists, will be a free plan?
Yeah, I think because you're trying to create that marketplace, so you want to sign up as many cyclists as you can, because they're going to be the bait and balance to the opposite side of the marketplace for all the vendors and things like that.
Okay.
So what you may actually want to do, what I would recommend, is splitting it up and creating another page. Let me show you an example here. This is a bad example. Let me just the quickest thing I have is create a page. It's not here anymore. Let me think real quick. Is basically the business or whatever, and then take them to their sign up page. The cyclist one can go directly to the free sign up page. The business one can come to your pricing page here, and they can have 2 options. That way you're not commingling the sign up for each of them, and you're funneling people. Also, that's an indicator to the businesses that you're busy signing up cyclists as well. So I would put one more page in front of this, and then just have 2 boxes: sign up as a cyclist, sign up as whatever the business is that you're calling for here.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. The site's looking great as well. Thank you, Jean-Michel. All right, guys, with that, we are just about 35 minutes over time. Thank you guys so much for an amazing webinar. Thank you, David, for these slides. We're very excited for the new email newsletter system. Send your members some newsletters. If you encounter any obstacles or have any suggestions, please email our support team. Ton of BD Lab updates already pushed, and some awesome things to come. Thank you to the BD development team. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. Head on over to the Brilliant Directories Facebook group and sign up for that free iPad giveaway. Just comment on the pin post at the top of the group. We will post the replay in the Facebook group shortly after. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. We'll post that in about 10 or 15 minutes. And for those of you who joined us on YouTube, thank you very much. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. Look forward to seeing you there. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, we love doing these webinars. It's been great to be with you guys here today. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Take care, guys.